voice has been the soundtrack for the state wrestling tournament for over 20 years now. And now you guys and girls are going to get to hear his story and get to hear how some of his iconic catchphrases come to life. Sir, if you would, tell us who you are.
My name is David Dawson.
Of course, you are the public address announcer for the state wrestling tournament, and I believe you said that your first year was 2001, correct?
I think it was 2000.
2000.
That's my best of my recollection.
Okay. So how do you get invited? What's the process of you taking over the microphone?
Yeah. Well, our longtime head wrestling coach who started wrestling here, and Gary Canner, and his assistant Eddie Payton. Of course, I did the local, the school wrestling events on Wednesday nights, and did some tournaments. And I've always had public addressing and announcing experience. Going back to 1989. When I first started at actually Union College, I started my debut of announcing basketball games. But I've announced several hundred local basketball games here at the high school, and so they came to me with an idea that I thought was pretty crazy. They said, "Hey, we want you to come to the state tournament next year and kind of spice things up." And I looked at him like, "Are you serious? I don't have that much of experience. And plus, the state tournament where, that's a big stage." He said, the assistant and both the head coach said, "That's okay. We've got scripts. We've got all kinds of stuff for you. We want you to study. We want you to use during the matches and in between matches and things like that." I said, "Okay, y'all pencil me in, but if you think of somebody else that you want, feel free to get them." But obviously, it was a challenge, right off the bat. I was able to go and work with Father Himmerly, who was from Trinity, and he just introduced the matches. Mm-hmm. And my job was to make the fans aware of certain matches that were going on, to highlight the matches, between ranked wrestlers and competitive wrestlers. And if there was a match going into overtime, I would direct the people's attention to a particular mat number. So honestly, it was kind of wild, especially at the beginning, because I was never used to that. I never had done anything like that. And of course, Coach Cantor and Payton would offer suggestions along the way, and I welcomed everybody's input just to make it more of a fan friendly and make people aware of what was going on at the state tournament. So that's kind of how it all started, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
And I was going to say, I also think that you do the state football tournament championship games, correct?
Yeah. That's I guess if you really want to know how that went, after wrestling, I was invited to go to the state swimming meet, and I always told them, I said, "Look, I don't have any experience, announcing swimming." They said, "Don't worry, we'll tell you what to say. All you have to do is kind of read off results." So I did that. I basically filled in from somebody, and from there it kind of snowballed really fast. With the state soccer, baseball, football, volleyball, even field hockey. I've done several of those now. Cross country and track. I did a couple bowling state championships, and ended up doing baseball for several years. I guess the only one I haven't done is softball. And I did several girls basketball state tournaments. I have not announced state boys basketball tournament, but maybe there's still some time left. I don't know.
And I love you saying all these other sports, but I love how it all come from wrestling. You started off wrestling, and you made your name at the dungeon, and then it just spread.
Right. And if it wasn't for Gary Cantor, I give him all the credit for pushing me into that opportunity. And I'm very blessed and thankful for all those opportunities that the KHSA has given me.
And I can tell, coming of course, I've been officiating for this finished up my 18th year. And even before I got to whether it was work a table or officiate the boys or girls state tournaments, you could always tell walking in to the dungeon or now to the horse park, GRC, the three places we've been in your tenure. You can always tell it's a state tournament when you hear, "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to wherever we are." And you're like, yes, this is the state tournament. So real quick, let's talk about a couple of your known phrases, your catchphrases, if you will, when you're announcing matches and you say, instead of mat 2, now up on the deuce.
Yeah.
So
that's one of those things when, you're announcing so many matches and telling, wrestlers and telling everybody, who's wrestling on mat number 1, 2, 3, and 4. And, now at the sports park, 8 mats. But, it gets kind of monotonous. And, sometimes I just want to say something like that, real silly, just to, get the people aware of what's going on. Hey, we're now wrestling on the deuce. And that was one of my best friends, Steve Webb, who worked with me, who announced, as a partner and played the music and created a great atmosphere. He thought that was pretty cool, and we kind of bounced everything off. And I don't say it every time, but every now and then I'll say it, and it catches on pretty quick.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna say, man, it's one that has stuck out. Another one that you have is like if you second call for so and so from what school, you're needed on mat 3 right now. And yeah. When I if I go do elementary, middle school meets, whatever, as kind of like the head official, sometimes I'll take the microphone, do a little bit, sure. And people that's not been to because the sport's growing, kids are getting into it. And a lot of teams are popping up that don't have like a history like some schools do. And I'll use the phrase right now, so-and-so, you're needed on mat 2 right now.
Yeah.
And they'll come up to me and they're like, why are you saying right now? I was like, just wait till you go to this high school state tournament. You'll hear it more than you ever think you will. And then like the next year they'll see me out or whatever. And they'll be like, man, the guy at the state tournament says the exact same thing. And I'm like, exactly. That's where you think I got it from. So is that something that you just kind of done on your own or got like a suggestion for? Or
well, it's one of those things where a good friend of mine, a good former coach, he would say that in his PE classes and when he was a coach, for people to get where they need to get right now. Okay. Right now. And he always said it real quick, real sharp. And that kind of always stuck with me. And then, at the state tournament and even places, these wrestlers need to get to that particular mat. And when I say right now, it basically means expeditiously. Let's get there. The officials, the table workers don't want to wait any longer. So we want people to pay attention to that intro there, because it also kind of highlights those particular people and gets people looking at that particular match, just for maybe a couple seconds. So I just kind of do it just to attract some attention to those particular people.
Well, I can tell you it works. Yeah. Whether I'm officiating or working the table, whatever it is, they'll come up and they'll be trying to buckle the headgear or whatever. Oh yeah, hey, I thought I was on mat 4. It's whatever. And I think another one of your catchphrases is after you do the face off and you get everybody out there and all that kind of stuff. I can't do it justice, but I'm not even going to try to replicate it. But you do the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Yeah. That actually came from a famous boxing official I guess back in the '90s, probably '80s, when he would introduce the face-offs at boxing matches. He would say, got 10 rounds here, no rabbit punches and all that stuff. And at the very end, he said, let's get it on. And that always stuck with me. And, I'm behind the mic, I'm pretty comfortable about using phrases like that. So as long as it doesn't sound too corny, I've always used it.
Man, it is it's a staple. The on the deuce right now, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is such a staple of the Kentucky State Wrestling Tournament.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, was that boxing referee's name Mills Lane?
That's right. The name escaped me. Mills Lane.
That's what I thought. Now, as of this filming, this is April 5th, it's tax day 2014. I've got 38 years of the state tournament. There's been 61 state tournaments. I've got 38. The earliest I have is 1969. The 1969 video is complete, but there's no audio with it. The earliest one I have with audio is 1981. So I went through and I've kind of made about a 4-minute compilation video of the different voices of the state wrestling tournament. And we're going to go through and kind of watch a little bit of them.
Okay.
So first one we start off with is 1981 here. Do you know this gentleman's name?
I do not.
And of course, the video's terrible, but and that's the same Rob Irvin that's been the head coach for so long.
Wow.
He's ready to come up and get his award there. That's him and the Union County Boys right there on the right.
Where's that at?
This is Atherton.
Oh, okay.
Before we were at the dungeon, we were at Atherton from 74 to or 75, 74, something like that, to 1995.
Yeah, that's a big gym.
Yeah. This is a different guy, so I'm not sure who it is.
It's kind of cool to see how this sport has evolved and been organized and structured over the years.
Oh, absolutely. And
the outstanding wrestler of the tournament, voted by the officials and the coaches, in the heavyweight class from Scouting Park through
and that was Father Hemmerly, correct?
Well, yeah, I'm almost positive. All right, here we go. The dungeon arena was so great.
Oh my gosh!
It was very fan friendly, and it was tough for the KHSAA to kind of control the logistics of things with the crowd, but it was a great atmosphere. There it is.
Award, the Orville Williams Outstanding Wrestler Award, four-time state champion from St.
Yeah, if you never were at the dungeon, it was the best atmosphere ever the KHSAA ever produced.
For certain.
You're back here in the background to the right there.
Yeah, they started putting me down on the floor right to the awards area for several years.
then I believe this was Trinity won it this year.
To George Marshall Clark High School for the 2023 KHSAA State Wrestling Championships presented by UK Healthcare. At this time, let's meet the finalists. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get it on!
If you even got it up there on the video board.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the 2024 KHSAA State Wrestling Championships presented by UK Healthcare. Let's meet the finalists.
Of course, this is, as of this filming, this is the first girl
Yeah.
I put in.
Yeah. That was interesting with the girls. I was impressed with the overall talent
Oh,
that was
absolutely.
displayed. It was really good.
The and you know, we've said in other videos, I reached out to all the coaches and the finalists there on the state tournament day. I said, you know, I want to get all 13 of the girls review videos done. That way, their history documented, and they can have, you know, people can have them forever, and then do them as we can after that. But you know, we've said the girls deserve the same venue, the same atmosphere, the same experience as the boys, and I'm glad that we were able to provide that for the girls, but that being the first year back in the arena. So, Dave, man, watching some of those videos back, doing it at the Dungeon, GRC, and back at the Horse Park, does any like matches, any year stick out, any face-offs that you're just like, man, that was just a great time to be a part of it?
Well, I think it was like 2002 or 2003 at Farnham Dungeon Arena when my good friend Steve Webb and I, you know, basically created a kind of a circus atmosphere before the actual finals match. When I say circus atmosphere, you know, there was a time between, you know, the end of consolation matches and, you know, the third, fifth, and seventh place matches where there was, you know, setup of the final mat, and there was a, you know, maybe 20 or 30 minute time frame where, you know, the fans needed something to do, so we played music. And I think in 2003, and it kept evolving year after year, but we'd play some fan-friendly music, try to get them hyped up for the finals. And man, I look up and they're throwing toilet paper, they got beach balls, and they got all kinds of things going on. And I looked at Steve Webb like, uh-oh, what have we done here? And of course, you know, the KHSAA was you know, they had to adjust to that as well. And, you know, fortunately it worked out for everybody. It was very fun. And those times at the Farnham Dungeon Arena were great because the crowds were really good. And plus that arena was conducive to a finals wrestling atmosphere. And, you know, it was a big stage for a lot of kids, and the fans were close to the action, and it was just some really fun times there. I remember those probably more than you know, times at the All-Tech Arena.
Yeah, and the glow sticks, and I've actually got video. As you're talking there, I'll insert some stuff. I've got some video people sent me from 2002 before the finals, 2003. So I'll put in some clips. That way, when you watch it back, you can see what I'm talking about. But just a phenomenal job that you do. It's a like I said, it's just a staple. You know, it's a state wrestling tournament when you hear that you're reading the ads and you know what weight classes are weighing in that distinctive voice especially if we're not from, you know, the LaRue County area, don't get to hear your voice or get to go to other state tournaments. You just know, man, this is it, man. This is the show. So Dave, man, anything you'd like to say or add before we wrap this one up and put a bow on it?
No, I certainly appreciate this opportunity. Saw you at the state wrestling tournament. Said you were going to holler at me and do this, and I just appreciate you and all the work that you put in and your passion for high school wrestling. You know, a lot of people like what you do, and little stuff like this certainly goes a long way. So thank you.
Well, man, I appreciate it. It's a labor of love. Before we get out of here, give us a on the deuce one good time.
Now wrestling on the deuce.
There we go. I think that'll hold us over till next
Okay.
February, man. Thank you for doing this. Guys, thank you all for watching. We will see you guys and girls on the mats.